first and foremost have to tell you right at the top, I can't tell you exactly who the information came from or which parties were involved in giving me this information because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I can say that I have positively verified something about the injury that Charlie sustained to his neck that I think is going to go a very long way in terms of helping those of us who have been sleuthing, those of us who want answers, those of us who are dedicating our time to this because what we are being told by the authorities beggars belief. As John and Arena Mappin said, it just simply beggars belief. We also want to make sure that we are presenting evidence and debunking one another where we can so that all of us can collectively zero in and build upon whatever facts we have in this decentralized investigation. This is about the injury, okay? So Andrew Kovats was, I can tell you, telling the truth in part when he wrote that very long tweet in which he tried to explain why there was no exit wound. Do you recall this? Long story short, he said, I'm going to read it. I want to address some of the things that the lack of an exit wound about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize if this is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. He said the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc., but it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent, and he replied, it was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have just gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. In the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable. Miraculous. Now, keep that up for just a second because it's really around here. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel that we just went, something's not right. Something not right. A lot of stuff's not right. I just don't know why a surgeon would be saying something that actually only the medical examiner, somebody that specializes in forensics, could really contribute. Yes, a surgeon can tell you, or actually any person with common sense can tell you that your bone density is better when you're younger. But this seemed a little bit too performative. Now, I can tell you the part that he is telling the truth about is that Charlie's neck indeed did stop the bullet without question, okay? And this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there, and I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front, and the bullet did not exit, and at least a fragment of the bullet was recovered from his neck. And I'm going to tell you exactly.
What I saw was, okay, he was shot in front by the neck. I was never under any impression that he was shot from the back. I don't think, was that in anywhere in this, is that what the FBI said, that he was shot from the back? Because he was facing the audience and then he was shot. That's what I saw on the video, and the blood coming out from the neck. That's what I saw. And so why is she bringing about okay, I'm confused about that part, because that was also what he was shot from the front. But we're going to get into it as she goes along, right? I do think that the medical examiner, even as a medical doctor, whatever, giving that information to Andrew Kovats, saying that he was a man of steel, I think if you are in that field, it's better to be using medical terminology, because those things can be taken apart. And I do think okay, he didn't mean it like a Superman. You know what I mean? Okay, he just meant that, okay, Charlie was a nice, strong young man. He was 31 years old. But, when you're talking about medicine over here, they want you to be using the correct terminology. So she has given us that she can tell us that what the information she's giving us is 100%. 100%. So we are together here, guys. We are going to see if Candace is going to show us, because she says she has verified this information. It's actually true information. It's 100%. So we are going to see if she's actually going to show us this 100% proof information that she has. So if this information is true, shouldn't we see that information in order for us to actually verify that it's actually true information? Or we should just trust Candace Owens? Okay, is this in the realm, trust me, bro? I'm not saying that she's lying, but if she's out here saying that I have 100% proof positive, I have this information, I think as a journalist, she is supposed to present that. So, but knowing Candace, is she waiting for people to say, oh, she's lying, it's not true? after she comes back from vacation, she's going to produce this evidence. So
was recovered from. I have fact-checked this information from multiple sources now. I've actually been sitting on this for a little bit over a week. Right around here. So think about almost in line with your shoulder blade right in the center. Now, why is that helpful? Because it gives us a bullet trajectory, okay? It went in here where you saw that, and it was stopped, and a fragment was pulled from, think right, if you're just touching your spine in line with your shoulder blade. That leads us, obviously, to the part that he's maybe not being forthcoming about. They did not recover a bullet from a 30-06. They didn't recover a bullet from a 30-06. It just didn't happen, okay? If they had found a 30-06 bullet, Charlie's death certificate certainly would have reflected that. In suicide situations, that's just one example, medical examiners, feel free to chime in. I've spoken to quite a few. But when the gun and the bullet are known, they are reflected onto the death certificate, okay? There is not one reflected onto Charlie Kirk's death certificate because they did not recover a bullet from a 30-06. Hunters and military men rejoice. It turns out that common sense still rules the roost, okay? You guys were right. You were absolutely right. And this is why.
So, yes, I was just like, okay, I saw the video, he was shot from the front. So now she's moving on telling us that Charlie Kirk's death certificate does not specify what type of a bullet it was. So I haven't seen the death certificate, but she's telling us that 100% it's not listed on the death certificate. So this is one thing that I do know. Death certificate actually goes to the next of kin. So we know in this case who is the next of kin is Erika Kirk. So at this point, is Erika Kirk giving this information to Candace Owens? It's a fair question to ask because she'll be the only person who is actually the next in kin to be able to receive that death certificate. Now, granted, there's people doing investigation, okay? There's people who work at this particular hospital. Somebody might have leaked this to Candace and everything else. I'm not disputing that. But what we do know, when somebody dies, they do issue a death certificate. And the person who receives death certificate is the person who is next of kin. And I don't have to verify. You and I, we can agree that Candace Owens, she's not the next of kin. But nevertheless, she told us it's the death certificate does not specify this, okay? So now, is she going to show us this death certificate? Can we verify this death certificate? Because if she sent it, if somebody given to her, what was the purpose, right? They know that right now, Candace Owens, she's running a parallel investigation with the FBI, with the authorities. So they are giving her this information so she can disseminate this information to the public. So we are out here with the public, okay? All right, can we see the death certificate, please? Can we see the death certificate? I would like to know, all right? I would like to see. So I'm not an expert when it comes to these bullets and everything. I have no idea what type, what it is, and everything else, okay? So I'm not going to question anything as far as that is concerned. If the death certificate does not show, but at least what is not in dispute is we know Charlie was, over this platform, right? Was deleted using a weapon. So is a dog, whatever, the autopsy, the death certificate, I'm sure it's going to be listed on the autopsy report, right? Because this has to go, this document has to be, it's going to be presented as evidence in court, okay? So obviously, death certificate is going to write, okay, he died, by, what I mean? By strangulation, by bullet wound, or whatever the case may be. So even if the death certificate does not specify the exact bullet, does that mean there's some conspiracy going on? Because everybody knows how this gentleman died. It will be a different story if the death certificate was saying, he died by strangulation. You know what I'm saying? Or he died by unknown cause. Or he died by, I don't know, you guys get the point, right? Because we could see the manner of his death, so to speak. So them not explaining the exact bullet and everything, I don't think I personally will be, okay, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But at least we know how he died. It'll be an issue if we just say like, oh no, he died a natural cause. We'll be like, wait a minute. We all know he did not die a natural cause, right? So they have to specify as the manner of death, the cause of death. That has to be there. So, but nevertheless, she has a death certificate. That's what she says, right? She 100% she has seen this. So, all right. If Erika Kirk is giving, I'm not saying that that's what she's doing, but what I'm saying is the person who is going to receive the death certificate is the next of kin. And in this instance, who is the next of kin is Erika Kirk. So if Erika is not the one who is giving this information to Candace Owens, who are these people who are giving this information to Candace Owens? It's social media. People are going to like to be hearing these things. But this thing is not good for investigation purposes when things are leaking. I do know that in Utah, the autopsy report, they don't make it public if it's a crime, especially if it's still under investigation. So nobody has, I'm sure maybe other people has, right? But it's not a public document that we can access as far as the autopsy is concerned because the investigation is ongoing. But trust and believe, all this information is going to be made public when they go to trial, when they go to court. But, obviously, Erika, she's there, she's an African, she knows. But we have Candace Owens here giving us all this information, guys. So, absolutely. Is she the next of kin? Maybe she is, because what's going on over here? Let's not forget, Erika Kirk was a wife to Charlie Kirk. Candace Owens is married to George Farmer. So I'm like, what are you out in here? Looking for someone else's husband death certificate. What exactly is happening? So this is what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, if what she's doing has the blessing of Erika Kirk, no problem, guys. But if what she's doing does not have the blessing of Erika Kirk, certain things what she's doing, she is actually crossing the line. Okay? Would I want somebody to be out here discussing the details of my husband's death certificate? I don't know. Whatever else she has, everything has to be examined. If it's true, we are not saying that she doesn't have this information, okay? All we are saying is, if you're saying you have this information, will you please make it available? Because I can say the same thing, oh, by the way, I actually have the death certificate. I actually have the autopsy report. You see what I'm saying? What are you going to say? Like, okay, Vida, are you going to show us? Oh, you guys just trust me. I've seen the death certificate. I've seen the autopsy report. You guys just trust me. So yeah, granted, there will be people who are just going to trust her. You know what I mean? But it's a legitimate question for people to question, like, okay, if you have it, can you just show it? Can you just make it public? If you don't want to make it public, then why are you bringing this information publicly if you're still going to keep it a secret?
We are getting all of your emails. I want to tell you, we're working on everything, okay? It's like an investigation that never stops. It's just trains that are slowly moving as we get answers. And like I said, even that I've been sitting on for a while. I'm waiting for people to react, see what people say, because I need to know who's guilty. Of what? I don't know, but I need.
So I hope you caught what she said. She has information, but she's sitting on it. She's waiting for people to react. So if this lady, she's truly on the quest to find the truth as to what happened to Charlie Kirk, why are you sitting on valuable information? But she says she's waiting for people to react so she can see who is guilty. You produce the evidence. You just say, you know what? So, you said this, you were here, blah, blah, blah. For all we know, that person needs to be investigated like yesterday. But she's waiting for people to react to her. Now, when they react, she's going to come out here and do the video and do these things. So when people are accusing her about grifting, of taking advantage of this situation, are they lying? Are they lying? Why are you sitting on important information that can actually help out this investigation? If your intentions are truly pure, if your intentions are to find out what happened to your best friend, why would you be sitting on information that's so helpful to your best friend, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens? Can you please tell us? Would you want your best friend to be hiding information that can actually help you? Can you imagine if, let's say you are a parent, right? Tyra Robinson is your son, and he didn't do it. And Candace Owens is sitting on information that can actually exonerate your son. How would you feel if that was your child? Someone else is telling you they have information that can actually help out your innocent son, but they're sitting on it. They are waiting for people to react. How will you feel? And even as she's Catholic, right? Like, why would you do that? Isn't this evil? Like, what are you doing? And now she just gives her this information and she's gone on vacation. She's waiting for people to react. That's what she's doing. So, I cannot stand this. This is not good.